to the GDC podcast. We got BrodyBuilt here. Billy is MIA right now. Brody, what's going on with Billy? Why did he not attend today, man?
Well, Billy and I won a little trip down to Panama a few months back, and I opted out. I didn't really feel like going to Panama. Well, Billy went ahead and went, and I think he might have caught a little something from being down there, so he's got a little sick right now. So he won't be with us today.
Okay. Well, I apologize for not having a podcast last week. It was a crazy week. Everyone had a lot of stuff going on. We've had bad weather this week, but we managed to get on, and we're definitely happy to do so. So first thing I kind of wanted to start off with was someone in our community got a Gentleman's Driving Club shield tattoo. And I'm definitely going to edit this video so I can put that picture of the tattoo on screen for sure. But let's look at this thing. I guess you've seen it, Brody. You've got it on your phone. How would you describe this? Like, what is the right positioning? Kind of the lower back, side?
It's huge, guys. It is. I mean, I guess rep the brand. I don't know. I mean, it proportional. Yeah. If you can see that on the camera, guys, it's maybe like 2 to 3 inches smaller than the actual crest on our shirts right now. It's a pretty big tattoo.
It's huge, man.
And it looks like a pretty painful spot down there in the lower right side of his back. And I'm like, I mean, cool and all, but all right.
So the backstory on the GDC tattoo is, if you guys are not in the Patreon group, definitely get in the Patreon group. We basically you can join the Patreon. I'll leave a link in the description, but basically you get into our private Discord group where all of us kind of chat. It's a big, cool community, and all the guys in the community dared this guy to get a GDC shield tattoo, and they even pitched in to go ahead and get that done. So they paid for the tattoo 100% for him to get it done. And so he got that done today, which was pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of fun shenanigans going on in there. Definitely worth joining, and you can stay up to date on everything GDC. But yeah, I like, kudos to him. We're actually going to do this month's GDC Spotlight interview with him. He doesn't know it yet, but I figured like getting a GDC tattoo is a great way to get our attention. And I mean, I couldn't pick anybody else. I'd be a jerk if I did.
I mean, yeah, honestly, this guy's he's repping the brand for life now,
right?
Unless he gets it laser removed.
Right. So we're going to get him on an interview here probably in the next week or so, and figure out like what was going through his head this whole time, like being peer pressured by everybody in the group, them paying for it, like him deciding to actually go through with it. I really want to know like the psychology behind it. And what really kind of sucks is me being, the GDC guy, I kind of have to get one now, right, Brody?
I mean, it only makes sense.
So, I mean, we're not going to probably do it left chest or something, but I'm going to have to get over my fear of needles and just get it done. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into the first real topic. I'm going to read you, Brody, this tweet from President Trump, so you kind of have a backstory on what's going on, okay?
Sounds good.
The Trump administration is revoking California's federal waiver on emissions in order to produce far less expensive cars for the consumer, while at the same time making the cars substantially safer. This will lead to more production because of the pricing and safety. So, me reading into that and what I've read on the topic is that he is trying to standardize the regulations for California just like they are for the rest of the United States. I know a lot of our listeners are from California, and you guys have a hard time modifying your cars, especially having to do with exhaust because of the strict emissions laws. So for you guys, this will be great. But his premise, I guess, is that it'll be cheaper to produce cars because the companies won't have to abide by all those regulations, therefore making the companies more money and bringing more jobs, which has kind of been his big thing throughout his whole campaign and his whole election. So I'm not sure how true that really is. But what do you think what do you make of the whole thing? I'm happy for California car enthusiasts because hopefully they'll be able to do a lot more with their cars as far as modifications and exhaust and stuff. But on the legal side, I'm not really, it doesn't really affect me. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where California's regulations are just so extreme. They're just so left-sided in everything that they have going on over there that a lot of it just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like you said, the whole exhaust modification thing. I can't say if it's mainly just because of the emissions issue there, but also just like California being, for, sound ordinance and all that stuff as well.
Right.
But I will say that I've read a lot of different things talking about not calling out any electric car companies or any of that stuff, but how do you get electricity? Mainly burning coal. So technically you're talking about cars that say there's zero emissions. Well, the process of that power is causing exponential emissions. It's one of those things where even though it seems clean, it's actually extremely dirty. I mean, I've also read stuff where, surprisingly, I've read that diesels are one of the cleanest, basically emitting vehicles on the road. So it's like, well, again, besides the whole blowing black smoke, which, come on, guys. I mean, why do we need to do this? But, I just feel like I think it should be – I think he's justified in what he's basically saying there. Sure. I think it's fine to kind of keep an even regulation across every state. And as you said, putting more jobs out, making more money. That's the biggest thing.
Right. But do you think that by them removing these regulations in place, do you think that'll really lead to enough extra cash flow for these companies? And will they, even if they have extra cash flow, do you think they'll actually hire more people because of that?
My whole thing with big companies is everyone's getting a vacation. So, when you're making money, when you're making $1 million, 900,000 isn't enough. So it's like, okay, well, either way, someone's making more money somewhere.
Yeah.
So it would be nice. The principle would be nice about, hiring more people, making more money, all that kind of stuff. But it's hard to say. It really is. But I will say this too: these car companies, it's hard on them right now.
Yeah.
Meaning that their whole fleet has to have a certain mile per gallon ratio or all that stuff. So car companies can't go chase their dreams because there's so many regulations and stipulations and all that stuff about what they can and can't do. So if the regulations were loosened up a little bit, maybe it would work out. So. I mean, it's worth a shot. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? You change it for a little bit, it doesn't work out. Okay, regulations back on,
Right. Well, let's move on from that topic. California and their liberal laws. We'll move on from that. So the 2020 Ecoboost was a topic. Ecoboost Mustang was a topic on Car and Driver this morning because they're taking the platform of the Focus RS and they're basically putting it into the 2020 Mustang EcoBoost, which they were already very similar. I'll just kind of read you the highlights of what they're saying. So the newly available high-performance package swaps the base EcoBoost spec engine for a detuned version of the 2.3-liter unit that powered the all-wheel drive Focus RS. Ford accomplished this by recalibrating it to work with the standard 6-speed manual and optional 10-speed automatic transmissions, as well as making it work long ways in the rear drive staying. Also added were a twin scroll turbo compressor, a bigger radiator, and an active exhaust system. Output is now 332 horses, which is 18 less than the RS made, and the same 350 foot-pounds of torque as before. Ford says the RS-derived EcoBoost mill brings broader horsepower and torque curves. The engine is most responsive between 2,500 and 5,300 RPMs. So they basically just added another 32 horsepower to the EcoBoost Mustang. And I think gave it a much better platform for tuning as well.
Well, like you already said, didn't you? You said they detuned the RS motor to run in the Mustang, correct?
Right.
So basically you're talking about tuning platform where I understand they detune it so we're not blowing transmissions, blowing differentials, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But the thing is, now we're talking people have that ability to retune it, which possibly, people might hear that as, okay, it's got 18 less horsepower than the RS. That's all you're going to get if you retune. But that's not entirely true at all. That motor can handle another 100 horse probably.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're talking about a great platform that kind of gives people the tuner aspect of owning a Mustang now.
Yep. And to be honest, and they kind of talked about a little bit of the article, when the EcoBoost first came out, with the V6 S550. As everybody knows, I had a V6 S550. They both came out with 300 horsepower, which was respectable. But like, I don't know. I feel that extra 32 horsepower makes a huge difference, especially knowing that the tuning capabilities of that RS engine could easily push it past 400. You could probably get that thing to like 450. And at that point, you're looking at GT numbers. I mean, you get a bigger intercooler. You get a bigger intercooler. You get you know, a very, very aggressive tune, and you start tweaking with stuff. You could definitely get into about 450, I believe. I mean, that's only 115 horsepower.
Oh yeah.
For a 2.3 liter. I mean, I think there's potential there for sure. And before the S550 platform, you know, you were looking at GTs that had 300 horsepower. You know, before, not too long ago, maybe what, 6 years ago, you had GTs that were pushing 300. Yeah. So I think it's definitely a respectable platform, and I think you'll see a lot of Ecoboosts driving around once that 2020 comes out for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, you know, I'm a fan of the EcoBoost motors, and I would love to have that EcoBoost in my Raptor, but being a Gen 1, it's going to be a pretty costly upgrade to actually change over to that EcoBoost platform compared to the V8.
Right.
But like you said, with 300 horsepower and all that stuff, it's definitely obtainable to hit 450. I mean, as you guys know, if you follow me on my channel, we took that FRS, which is a Speed by Design 500X turbo kit, and we went from 200 to about 330 to 350 horsepower. Yep. So, and that was on a very conservative tune and 91. These 4-cylinders, man, they're a good platform to be pulling out a lot of horsepower. I mean, look at the Honda guys who are pulling, you know, upwards of 1,000 horse out of their, I forget what the indication or whatever they call that motor, but these 4-cylinders, they're crazy.
I always like to see, you know, 1320 video. They always have these 1,400 horsepower Corvettes, which you kind of expect, and then you see this 1,200 horsepower Supra or 1,200 horsepower, you know, NSX or something. And it's really interesting to see those 4-cylinders go for sure.
Oh yeah, and I mean, there's a reason why. Yeah.
So I mean, and like you said, they're great platforms, and we actually, I'm not sure if we talked about this on the last one. I don't think we did, but I always talk about that Eclipse, that 3G Eclipse, but I never wanted to get it because it was so slow. But I found out you can swap an Evo, I believe Evo 4 to Evo 9 engine in it, and those make a hell of a lot of power. We're talking 500 horsepower, 450, 500. Easily on a good.
There you go.
Almost perfect fit.
Okay, so yeah, there you go. So now, guys, okay, now here, quote Sean on this one. We got Tattoo coming up and Eclipse powered by Eclipse by the Evo motor.
Yes, both of those things are happening. I can't say how soon they're happening, but both of them are happening for sure. The next bit of news. So the Encore, which is a Norwegian cruise line, is going to now offer an electric go-kart track where the go-karts will go up to 30 miles per hour. There's 3 different tracks, and it's going to be $15 for an 8-minute ride. Brody, if you're on a cruise ship, you want to ride an electric go-kart going 30 miles an hour around a track.
For sure, man. I mean, why not? It's one of those things where I've never been on a cruise, but I like cars, and I'll take a go-kart track anywhere, you know?
Yeah, and I kind of saw a picture of it, and I mean, they obviously have liability. They obviously have lawyers. They always have all that good stuff, so I'm sure they're setting it up right. And it looked like just like a regular racetrack where they have, I don't even know what they call them, grandstands. What do they call them? Like the big, you know, barricades going over the stands. Obviously, they have those protections so cars don't fly off into the ocean and whatnot, but I could see a lot of people throwing up on that track.
Yeah.
For sure. But I just thought that was a very interesting, cool piece of news. For car enthusiasts. I think it's going to be a great time for sure. And, you know, $15 for 8 minutes sounds like a lot, but you're on a cruise ship. I mean, you're going to splurge. You're on vacation.
Yeah, exactly. And $15 isn't even that much. I mean, our go-kart track over here is, I swear, it's like $20 at least to race. They're cool and all, but it's a lot of money.
For sure. In other news today, we had an Area 51 event that went down. Brody, do you want to start us off on this?
Yes. Guys, I was excited for this thing. I just thought it was one of those, it's too stupid not to talk about it. I mean, it makes me laugh every time I hear it. I saw the pictures. Basically, it's just like a alien-themed Coachella now, apparently, or something like that. It's just like a big old party outside Area 51.
And for people who don't know, I know most people do, but for people who don't know, do you want to kind of give a background on what kind of went down with this whole Area 51 thing? Like, where is all the recent hype coming from? Like, what sparked the investigation?
So yeah, if you guys don't know anything really about this, basically there was a Facebook group or a event basically called.
Go ahead, you're good.
What's that? I think we're breaking up a little bit, Sean. But yeah, so if you guys don't follow it, basically it was a Facebook post creating an event talking about let's raid Area 51. They can't stop us all, quote unquote. So, 2 million people end up subscribing to this event and all that stuff. And all of a sudden hotels start booking out. People are planning trips around this whole entire thing. And it blows my mind that people took it this far. Just a joke turned into this massive event, I guess you would say, which I've seen a lot of pictures of stuff from the actual event over there. It basically just looks like it was a party. So there was really no raid per se. It was just people going out having a good time. I saw a bunch of food trucks. It seemed just like a big old party in the desert.
Nice. Well, I did read that there wasn't really any violence. Nothing really happened. One person got arrested for urinating in public. But other than that, nothing crazy. Other than that, nothing crazy there. And
yep.
One more thing I wanted to talk about while we're kind of on world stuff. Houston has just been getting destroyed by rain. We had areas flood worse over the last couple of days than they did during Hurricane Harvey. Bush Intercontinental Airport shut down for a day. They canceled almost 300 flights. It was insane. Completely insane. We had McDonald's closing. We had Chick-fil-A's closing. All those big businesses that don't usually closing. Absolutely insane. So, but I think
it's a lot of water. That's pretty crazy.
Yes, but we're getting through it. We're getting through it for sure. I didn't get too much of it, so can't complain there. What's been going on in Colorado? What's new in Colorado, my friend?
Not a whole lot, man. Same old. The weather's been warm. It's been actually pretty comfortable. We're above average right now in the temperatures, so it's nice to get out. We're gonna go to the mountains here. Basically, I'm gonna be up hitting the mountains for the next few weeks. So we're gonna have a lot of content coming about, just off-roading, camping, all that stuff, and we're gonna try to get a little bit more fun in before fall and winter hits. Which fall and winter are my favorite seasons.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it is fun to get some outside stuff done before that does.
I was gonna say you do a lot of stuff in the winter too. If you guys want to follow his build and what he's got going on, follow him at BrodyBuilt on Instagram and BrodyBuilt on YouTube as well. Got the FJ, got the Raptor, got the FRS still, right? Got the FRS still.
That is some new news. The FRS is gone.
No. What happened?
Yep. Finally sold it. So finally got a buyer who was interested in it.
Really?
So he took it off my hands. So now I'm just down to the Raptor and the FJ for now.
Okay. Did you get what you wanted out of the FRS?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't complain. The thing with the car was nothing was wrong with it. It was just a great, it was a perfect condition FRS. I did the turbo, all the good stuff to it.
Yeah.
It was just a little small for me. It was was very tight and cramped. I think if I was going to go to a coupe, I'd probably upgrade to like a Mustang or something like that, where it's just a little roomier inside.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't know how I'm going to fit in that Eclipse, but we'll make it happen.
Sounds good. Let's see.
Well, guys, I know today was kind of a short podcast, but we definitely wanted to get on here and make some content for you. Show you guys that we're still alive, survived the Houston flood. Billy's not dead yet. He's recovering. He'll be back next week. And yeah, Brody, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, guys, just keep following the channels and just stay tuned for a bunch of cool content to come.
Yes, and if you want to interact with Brody, obviously his YouTube channel, Instagram page. Also, we're both active in the Patreon group and the Discord group, so definitely join that. We'll leave that linked down below in the description. For those of you who have been asking me on Instagram when the GDC gear is coming back in stock, we are bringing everything back in stock at some point in October, so stay tuned for that. I'll be letting you guys know on the podcast, YouTube channel, and also Instagram as well. So I'm sure you'll get a few emails also. But I will catch you guys later in next week's podcast. Peace.
See you guys.